Hello friends and welcome to this video. I have been at jury duty, so you would have noticed that I've done like a vlog or vlogmas every single day in December up until a certain point, and then I had to stop because basically I was needed at court. Sounds weird. It has been a really surreal experience, and something that I've noticed is actually that there's not enough information or like personal experiences of people actually doing it, what to expect. And whilst it's fresh in my mind because I was discharged yesterday, I literally thought I'd just like splurge all of it. So this is a bit of a weird angle. I hope that you can see me okay despite the sunshine. I'm in my son's room and I want to sort out his drawers because like I'm multitasking basically. I've got so much to do because I've been away all week. So it's Friday today and I started jury duty on Monday, so it's been a 4-day case. It hasn't been a nice one, not quite murder, but I'd say probably a step under that. So yeah, it's been a horrible one, but I'll explain all of that in a second. So this isn't usually the type of content that I do. What usually I do is, you guys know, I do loads of clean with me's. I do loads of comedy mum shorts and fun content, like from shop with me's, charity shop runs, you know, DIY bits, and like fun with my son, basically like toys especially. I know that you guys have, like especially some new faces around here, have basically followed and subscribed to the channel due to like the best toys videos that I've done. So without further ado, if you like this video and you think that it's going to be useful to someone else who's on jury service duty, then make sure to share and like this video. I'd really appreciate it. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is actually very much of a rhyme. What I'm going to do is basically take out all of these things, and then whilst I put them back, I'm going to tell you about my jury duty experiences. So essentially, where do I even start? I think you get your letter. So that's point number one. So you get your letter and you are asked to reply by a certain date. I think I was given about a week to reply. They even give you like a stamped envelope to actually reply as quickly as possible so that you don't actually have to spend any postage or anything, that it's already prepaid basically. I'm kind of glad you can't actually see the mess as well. I know you can see a little bit, but basically I've taken most of it out apart from his socks and pants, which are fine, and then I've got t-shirts, socks, and I think some long sleeve tops as well, maybe some shorts and stuff as well. So basically I replied pretty quickly. I knew pretty fast that I want to do jury service, and if you hear any other noise, by the way, it's my husband. He's working from home today as well. So I knew I wanted to basically give back to the community and actually do my bit for society, you know, for the council and stuff, because it's such an important role. I don't mean to like degrade it by doing like the quotation marks, but like it's just, some people don't think that it's a big deal, some people do think it's a big deal, and I personally think that it's a big deal and it was worth going for. So essentially this is a local court that I was going to as well in Essex, the Basildon Crown Court, and basically I thought I would do it as someone who's in the past listens to a lot of true crime podcasts, documentaries, serial killers and things like that. Like, I didn't think it would be that extreme because I thought it might be like a petty theft case. It wasn't, but it wasn't quite murder either. However, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Essentially, you reply, you say yes, they send you more documentation, they say how much you can actually get per day for being in court, so you can actually claim some money back. So you can claim money for travel. They prefer you to take the cheapest travel you can, so usually public. I walked and then took a train So for me it was around £11 a day. And they also want you to buy not a weekly travel card if you do that, but 1 day, because sometimes it might happen that you might be needed for 1 day only and they don't know how long you might be needed for. So even though it might be more cost effective for you to think that a weekly travel card is cheaper, actually they prefer you to just buy the 1 day. So basically that's something that you can claim back for. You can claim back for lunch as well, even if you don't have receipts or proof that you've bought lunch during your stay and you even got packed lunch like I did. I still have to pay money for my packed lunch, so you can still ask for, I think it's called subsistence, because it's spelled like subsidence, but it's not. Basically that's around £5 something a day, and basically it's worth it because you're going to be eating anyway, aren't you, during your lunch. That's if you get a case. So I'll talk about your different options as a juror in a second as well. So what's the other thing you can claim for? So basically employment. So what happened throughout all of our jurors, so some people are retired so they don't claim back. There were some people who were getting paid by the jury service or like the council a certain amount a day, and basically I think it's around £60 a day, I believe. And basically she or one of the ladies was getting paid by her work the extra amount that she would be getting. So she would get the money from the council and then they'll top up anything extra themselves so that she's not out of pocket, basically. I've heard of other companies who just pay the full amount anyway, as if you're like taking a holiday. I've heard of companies who don't pay anything at all, and then you can claim back from the council a certain amount of money. So we're doing well here, thank you. And then for me, obviously as a self-employed person and a director of my company, I have to fill in some information and get my accountant to give me some extra information around how much I earn a day, so that basically I've got proof that, like, because I've attended court and I've not been able to get back to my clients, therefore I'm not earning that money and I can claim back that money. So basically 3 things: travel, employment costs and lunch. So those were the 3 main things. I think there were other options that you can basically claim back for, like child benefits, which didn't apply to me because my son's in school and I'm really lucky that I've got a really supportive husband and family. Like nanny helped out a lot as well, so thank you. So yeah, basically they do help you with childcare as well to a certain degree, but it only is for the extra costs that you might have had, not the usual stuff that you would have paid for anyway. So that's the money side of things and travel. So you agree to do it, you're given a date, and sometimes they do call you up and change the date. I think that's quite a rare occasion, but I had that. Like, I had a voicemail saying, please call us back immediately. So I called them back and then they're like, oh, actually don't worry about it, someone else said that they can change the date. I wish I changed the date now because of that case, but yeah, you never know what case you'll get. So that's the thing. Let's talk about options as a juror. So I've heard of people who turn up every single morning and the court does not use them as a juror because someone else gets chosen. I've also heard of or saw some jurors who were needed for 3 or 4 weeks. So unlike a case like mine, which only took 4 days, they were there, or are still there, and expected to be there still for weeks until basically it is complete, which is crazy. Imagine just giving up your work for about a month, if not more. But I do believe the cost of employment, like what you get back, goes up after 10 days. So they expect you to be a juror as normal. They give you like is it £60 a day, like if you've been a juror, like normally this is, you get £60 plus like a return, but then if it goes over the 10 days, working days, then I think it goes up to like £120. So they do realise the longer you are there, actually the more you're losing out. So that's something as well. So yeah, you could be there for weeks. What happened to me was there's a lot of waiting around, guys. I hope you can see me okay. But yeah, there's a lot of waiting around. You go in there, so we're expected to go on the Monday really early. So don't forget, like, the security is really high in that place. So don't forget your jury service letter, your identification, and basically everything to keep you entertained, from a book to headphones, laptop, phone. Just be aware that you'll have to turn all of those things off if you're going into the court. But yeah, basically bring entertainment. There's a lot of waiting around. There was a lot of delays as well. We were supposed to start at 10, then we started at 10:30, then it was like, this is all that we expected for the day, so we left early on certain days, sort of like not quite a half day, but like earlier than expected, because if they shut around 5 o'clock, then we would leave around 3ish, if not before that. So yeah, basically what happened to me was I was sitting there, made a friend, which was really nice, just chatting away. Everybody's so in the same boat, you know, so nice, really nice and local, in the surrounding areas. And then basically they come out, ask for everybody's identification, so you do that. You also get some forms to sign. I think you fill in some information around your emergency contact as well, which they take, and also help you with the whole getting money back. And then there's somebody else who comes out. I think he's like a jury, I don't know, officer, I think. And then they say, okay, so we're ready to take on new jurors. I'll call out, I think it was 16 names, maybe 18 names, when they need 12 jurors. So they call out the names. You all go into a specific room, and basically you then get picked at random. I'm sure it is, but who knows. At which point I was a random person, so 12 of us out of that 18, but the others had to stay in that room in case, and I'll explain what happened with us, in case there was some like reason why a juror couldn't be, what's the word, where they don't know anybody in there. We don't know the location, for example. It had something to do with a pub. We don't know the person that was involved, the victim, the defendant, you know, anything like that. So essentially the 12 of us go in, so they chose at random. I was one of those people. Then you look at the defendant. Do you know him? No. Okay, great. Do you know any of these locations? No, because I'm not actually in that area, so I haven't actually been, don't know any of the people or the location, anything to do with the case. Great. However, because it was a really sensitive case, due to the emotional capacity that it needed, and the personal, I think she had a personal experience herself with this element, that one of the jurors excused herself, and she said, due to a personal reason and personal experience, I cannot do this case, which is fair, my gosh. So that person goes out, and then another juror gets chosen, and I don't know how that juror gets chosen, whether it's another random reason, who knows, or whether it's just like whoever's closest to the door, you know, that, or maybe a volunteer. Anyway, we go in and we sit down, and then we hear the first of the evidence, and then that's how the 4 days proceed. So I know that others, speaking to some of the people later, or like actually meeting one of the jurors later at a station, she said that she sat there she wasn't chosen. She still sat there and just waited for hours and hours and waited a bit more, didn't get chosen, and was told to go home. When they're told to go home, they are told to wait for a text or an email address, or to be told whether to come back the next day, which she did, and she was sitting there still, or I think it was a different one that I saw the next morning, who basically said, oh, they've asked me to come in last minute in the morning, which she did, and she was luckily not too far away from the court. So basically you might be needed at any point, at any time, and that's worth having to think about, you know, that like you might be there for one day, some days, and only not even be needed. You could possibly do your work from it felt like a library because it's so quiet. It's got lots of books there as well, by the way. But yeah, crazy stuff. Or you could be the opposite side of the scale, like those jurors that's have been there for weeks. Someone said they might be expected there for 5 weeks. So, whew, I'm just glad it wasn't me. Although, I don't know. Who knows? That case was not nice. So the other thing I would say is the things that they offer there. So when you're sitting there, they give you Wi-Fi, but it's really patchy. Okay, I'm just thankful to have any Wi-Fi, so that's fine. You can do hotspots if that is important to you, so that's also fine. But the other thing is teas and coffees. Now, they were really lacking in tea and coffee, in the sense that they had a kettle there, which is disgusting, by the way, and I needed to clean out in the bathrooms. But it's barely working. It was really slow. It's got loads of lime scale at the bottom, and when you pour it, all the water was just on the desk. It's not nice, is it? So a few days later, we are to find out that actually they used to have like tea bags there and coffees there. Oh, that's the other thing. They only have the kettle, but nothing else. No milk. No milk, I understand, but they've got fridges there to put your lunch in. So that's another thing to point out, actually. There's a vending machine. They've got plenty of water, and like I recommend a bottle that you can take in with you to the court, because you can't eat in the court and you have to leave most of your things outside. You have to turn off all of your technology. You can have a locker there, but they say that sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So basically, teas and coffees are basically non-existent there. But we are to find out later that in the deliberation room, they did have hot water. So they had a hot water tap, which was great. You know, one of those machines that you pump down and it's like really hot water. And they've got teas and coffees and like milks there, which is great. However, they used to have teas and coffees, they said, but somebody used to come in and take it. So there's always one to ruin it, isn't it? So I know that the area is quite high in crime. Maybe somebody was coming in and just taking them. I'm not sure, but like surely they've got CCTV to see who it was. Or maybe it's just the amount of people that were taking the teas or having teas, because there's so many jurors and they just didn't realise. I don't know. Who knows? But somebody has to ruin it for someone else, isn't it? Basically, on like day 2, I brought my own teas and shared it round with the ladies. The guys got themselves some coffees. Oh, an idea could be getting one of those latte sachets. You know, you can get like one of those thin packets of latte, you know, coffee or cappuccino or something. So that's a really good idea that you can take with you. That's something one of the jurors did, actually. So that's an idea. But yeah, basically make sure you eat or have a snack just before you go in. There's lots of delays, like we had to wait for loads of like printouts, and they had to print it again, and they said they'd start at a certain time, and it was always late. And I get it, like sometimes they have to do other things. It's just, as a juror, it's really awkward. Like you're sitting in a tiny, really hot room, or that's my experience of it anyway, nobody wants to talk to anybody, as if like you're on the tube, you know, nobody's looking at anybody. Like, we had a couple of people who were quite chatty, which was nice, and breaking the ice, you know. I think he said he doesn't like a silence, which I totally agree with. And yeah, basically it's just like, you can be on your phone, of course you can, but it's still a bit awkward, and you're hoping like you're about to go in, so you've already turned your phone off as well, so you're just like sitting there like really awkwardly. And then when you actually do go in, you feel like the spotlight is actually on you because you're sitting there. It's a huge space. There's the barristers, there's the judge telling you all the information very clearly. He was awesome. The case is really repetitive, so be expected to hear evidence and then like to go on record, and then some facts over and over again from both sides. And then our case was a lot of like he said, she said, and very much lack of evidence. So it was very much like, yes, but this person says this, although this person said this thing, it was actually this thing, you know. And everybody had like a motive or like a bias of how they'd represent a certain evidence, if there was any, you know. So yeah, basically as a juror as well, it's really awkward because you want to give your full attention to it. You don't want to feel disrespectful to either side, so you don't want to be smiling or laughing, you know. I'm usually like a bubbly, laughing, social kind of person, but when it came to that matter, you can't be, you know. You just like and it's really draining, mentally draining, physically draining, and you're sitting there trying not to fidget, and you can't eat, so you can have some water obviously that you bring yourself, so I do recommend a bottle. But you can't have snacks, so make sure that you have a snack before you go in, which was really important for me. I always had a packed lunch as well, and packed lunch is really useful for deliberation because you're not allowed to leave. If it's the 12 of you, let's say, and one of you wanted to go smoking, which one of our group did, we all had to go outside. So it couldn't just be the one person going out, it had to be all of us, and then we all had to go back in. So yeah, basically that's, on the whole, that was the whole experience, and I've finished. So thank you so much. Like the draw looks perfect. Let me actually take you down. Look, it looks nice and neat. I found one pair of shorts that I don't think my son is going to wear again, whether it's too small or a bit girly. I think he actually got it from his nieces, so maybe, okay, they won't fit in there, would they? I don't know. The thing is, it looks quite girly to me, so I'll probably give that to charity. So that was all nice and done, and just in time too. I don't think I've got anything else to add to this jury service experience and my jury duty. I don't actually want to talk about the case because I don't think that's quite relevant or fair. Like, it's not going to be useful to you to know what it was, but if you are interested, make sure to DM me. I am allowed to talk about it now that it's closed and the verdict has been done, basically, so that's fine. It's just quite a sensitive topic. But yeah, I hope this is useful to you guys. This is the only reason why I'm doing this video, because I love to be like useful. I want to offer you some just like personal experience to help you, and that's why I've done this video, because I think I would have found this video so helpful before I went. Although I did hear from a lot of people that there's a lot of waiting around, but it's everything around it as well, isn't it? So yeah, basically, thank you so much for listening. If you are going on to jury duty, well done. You might get a great case that's quite a quick one, couple of days maybe. Maybe it's not too sensitive of a topic as well, and thank you for doing your duty. I do think it's really important personally, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, which is going to be like my normal content. I might do like a clean with me before Christmas, and maybe some routines here and there as well, because I've got my son who's on the school break, so it should be really fun. Thank you so much for watching my videos as normal as well, for those guys who have come back, and if you are new, make sure to subscribe to the channel. So thank you so much for watching and good luck. Bye!